Hey guys, today I'm going to show you this statue in an ancient temple. This is a giant statue more than 7 feet tall, but do you see what the problem is? Look carefully. Is anything out of place? There are tiny ridges, curves all over the face and the body of the statue. Look carefully, they're not straight lines. They're not even circles. They're smooth, shallow curves all over him. At least on his face, there's only one center point for these curves. But look at his chest. On his left side, it curves in one direction. On the right side, it is curving in another way, and the abdomen has a different set of curves. And you may ask, is it really hard to do these curves? It's not hard. It's impossible unless we use computerized machines like CNC machines. Let me explain. To cut or carve anything, I have to use a tool harder than the object that needs to be cut. This should be easy to understand why I'm able to cut butter with a plastic knife or fork, but I cannot cut metal with a plastic knife, simply because butter is less hard, plastic is harder, and metal is even harder. There's a scale called Mohs hardness scale where materials are categorized according to their hardness. Now, this ape statue is made of granite, which is one of the hardest rocks, and it is very hard to cut and carve because you have to use a tool that is harder than granite. So how did ancient builders cut granite? In India, they just used metal tools harder than granite. Maybe even diamond-tipped tools were used. But the real issue is these curves. I can use a metal chisel and use brute force to cut granite, but I can only make deep, rough cuts. I cannot make shallow, smooth curves like this. It is impossible to do this manually using brute force. Now, it's also impossible to create this using a lathe machine because these are not even circles. So you cannot achieve this even if you use a rotating mechanism. I have shown you circular marks in many ancient sites, and you can even argue that they were rotating these rocks manually like a potter's wheel, somehow managing a high-speed rotation. But how do we explain these curves? I have spoken to a couple of engineers and stonemasons about this, and they're absolutely baffled at the statue. One guy did not even believe that this is ancient. He thought this was a new statue. But archaeologists confirm that this statue is ancient. This is found in the temple of Kudumiyanmalai, which is at least 1,300 years old. Now, according to reports, several dynasties have renovated this temple, but nobody has touched this temple in the last 400 years. So even by conservative estimates, it must be at least 400 years old. But it could even be 1,300 years old. So how did they make these curves? One possibility is that they could have used very advanced technology like today's CNC machines. This is the only way we can do this today. We have to program these curves in a computer, and the computer will control these smooth curves. I cannot think of any other way to do this today. But in India, there is a strange anecdote. It is said that the ancient builders were able to soften stone. They were able to make the stone really soft, like butter. And you may ask, how does that solve the problem? Once you make granite soft like butter, just take a simple tool like this fork, and you can make these smooth curves. This is a very interesting theory. But is it possible to soften stone? Of course, many people in India think ancient people used certain herbs or plants and would grind them in a specific combination, and when they applied this concoction to granite, the stone became very soft and pliable like butter. I'm not sure if this is just a myth or if there is some truth to it. On one hand, we can think like, how can these plants soften granite? On the other hand, we do know plants produce a variety of acids, and plants themselves are notorious for taking over not just one or two granite blocks, but in some cases, entire temples have been devoured by these so-called harmless plants. I don't doubt that there may be natural acids or compounds that can soften stone, but I do doubt if ancient builders really concocted these compounds and softened stone. There's some evidence of this stone softening technology when we examine this temple further. Here you can see how a stone block has solidified while dripping down, like how water solidifies into ice while dripping. But how could that happen to granite unless granite was liquefied? I couldn't get a better picture because of poor light, so I cannot explain this further. In other areas too, you can see granite blocks peeling away like the skin of an orange. How is that possible? We don't exactly know what kind of technology ancient builders were using. Maybe they were softening the stone, or maybe they were using machines like CNC. But one thing is very clear. This is not possible unless they used very advanced technology. I hope you like this video. I am Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.